Hello, all you beautiful people, and welcome back to the Space Between. I'm your host and guide, Brett Kemp. Thank you so much for being with me here today. I wanted to shoot this video because it's been quite some time since I've put out a video, and I'm sure some people are probably thinking, oh, what's he doing? Did he stop doing this, or doesn't want to do this anymore, or is he okay? And blah, 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 blah. And I first want to let you all know, yeah, I'm good. Everything's fine. I mean, look at this. I got a hairband on. Like, what is this, right? I don't know. I think it's kind of cool. It's kind of Karate Kid meets The Lost Boys. That's what my lady said. There was a movie called The Lost Boys. She knew that movie way better than I did, but that's what she said it looks like. I just have really long hair right now, and it drives me crazy. So I found this, and as you can see, it kind of matches really nicely with this. But anyways, the point of this video today is not my fashion. So I wanted to let you all know that I have been working actually really hard on the channel, just in a different way. And also, through this whole journey, which I started probably a year and a half ago, there was a huge learning curve with all this, because YouTube, although there's a lot of room for creativity, like on social media, a lot of room for creativity and cute things and people expressing their beliefs and opinions, YouTube is pretty much definitely more geared towards creating a business. And you'll teach people gardening, or you'll teach them how to crochet, or you'll teach them, anything. I mean, the amount of different types of YouTube categories out there is kind of crazy to think about. So it's kind of like starting a business, and I don't know how to start a business. I don't have a master's in or an MBA. So the learning curve was definitely there, and I wasn't thinking about that in the meeting. All I was thinking about is how I wanted to do what I love to do, which is be a storyteller and make music and write words and entertain people, but also educate people and inspire people. So after about a year and a half of all this, I got to a place where I wasn't able to make money yet, because YouTube only has certain ways of making money. I'm sure there are many others that I don't know about because I haven't, I guess, dived deep enough into those. But ad revenue, just merely by how many people are watching and how long they're watching, your attention, retention rating, that's huge. But then affiliate marketing, where you can be like kind of promoting products and then putting links for Amazon or Walmart and stuff. And if someone goes and buys that, you get a little money. And there are other ways that I didn't know anything about. So I learned about those. But through learning about those, I basically learned that I don't really want to do any of those things, other than, sure, if enough people watched my videos for a long enough period of time and had enough subscribers on it, then you can start to make money. But the numbers have to be very high. And it's funny because coming from a world of being a performer and going to school for that and living in New York, and here already LA is unbelievably competitive to be in the entertainment industry, but social media might be even more competitive. So I went from one competitive pond to even more competitive pond, because everybody, as you know, is on social media. Everybody has their own Instagram and Twitter and blah blah. But YouTube is definitely one that's really kind of like creating a business. So is Instagram, obviously, to some degree. But these videos, for me, I saw them as creating art, wanting to create something beautiful and meaningful for people, and a place and a platform to do what I love. So with that learning curve, I just haven't figured that out yet, because I wasn't playing those certain games. And so since I'm not making income with it, I was living off some savings that I had, that I managed to save by working very hard before the pandemic. I was doing a sales job, and I was hustling. I was really hustling just all over Los Angeles. I was working for a kombucha brand, and I was getting that brand, their can, into every coffee shop, every place I could. And I was successful at that, thanks to my dad. I have the sales gene, I guess, if you will. But my mom too, my mom's so good at talking to anybody. She's really good at communicating with people and children, which is why she did what she did for so many years working in the school systems. But so I got to a place where, okay, I was getting down to the wire. I saw I only had so much money left, and I wasn't bringing any money in yet because I was devoting 100% of my time to this 7 days a week, 24/7. I mean, literally didn't sleep some nights, or I'd be up at 3 o'clock in the morning and I'd be working then from 3 to 7 because my mind, I just couldn't stop. And, you know, my lady would attest to that as well, how many sleepless nights I've had through all of this, but in a really good way too, because I love that coming up with my next idea or working on an idea I already have is what's keeping me up. To me, that's a really good reason to stay up. So, but through the whole process, I saw that I was starting to, you know, really get down to the wire, so to speak. And so a couple months ago, I started looking for a job, interviewing for sales positions and things, and been very fortunate because the job I had before to have a lot of opportunity to make even a lot more money than I was before. But, you know, for one reason or another, some aren't working out, or I'm not liking the job or the people or whatever. Usually not liking the people, but, you know, it's a gut feeling with those kinds of things. I think you really know whether or not you fit into the company, organization, or brand or whatever it is. And so I've been looking for work. I've been looking for work for months. And like so many artists, you know, you work sometimes multiple jobs. I'd like to say really quickly, I mean, as somebody who lived in New York and LA, I have worked so many different jobs to kind of actually not end up just getting a corporate job and a 9-to-5 and letting that dream and that intoxicating dream of stability, or imagined stability and money and health insurance and a nice house and all these things, you know, kind of grab you and take you away from what you truly want to do. And of course, the real success, and that at least the way I see it, is people that are successful doing what they love. That's the most incredible thing in the world. Finding out what you love, what you truly love, and being able to not to just get paid for it, but so you can have a great life, have a nice house, have a whatever it is that you want. It doesn't matter, you know, it doesn't matter. But so I've been looking for work, and so that's taken up a lot of my time. But that's only one reason. The other reason, the real more important reason, is because I have been working on why can't I say that word? The theme song for The Space Between. And the theme song has taken me many, many months. Because one, I'm a perfectionist, definitely, but two, just didn't sound right. I just couldn't get it to sound how I wanted it to. And it's the most important piece of this whole puzzle. We loved Mr. Rogers because of "It's a Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood," a beautiful day, you know, like that's what we loved. The song drew us in. So it's so important. So I've been writing that, spending hours and hours every single day, 7 days a week, just hours and hours and hours, and banging my head against the wall, trying to figure it out, trying to find the sound that I'm looking for. And I'm so happy because just a couple days ago, it finally broke through. And I'm going to be definitely very soon. I know it's going to be ready very, very soon. Just need some tweaking now, but I'm super excited to share that song with you all. But it won't just be me. I'm not being a singer-songwriter. I am going to be like the whole thing that I've been wanting to do. The Space Between it's a show. So it will start with music, just like a musical, basically, right? And or a kids show like Mr. Rogers. So that's another reason why I haven't done a video in a really long time. And what else? I have been looking for work. We talked about that. This is my little like cheat sheet, because normally I write a bunch of stuff, right? And I write poems and stuff, but today I'm keeping it much more improv, because improv. That's funny. It's funny to say that. It's not improv. I'm just having a conversation with imaginary person on the other side. So and in this time, I think what I've really realized is I was kind of going back and forth, because that's YouTube. It's a business, right? And I'm not concerned about YouTube. Let me put that out there right now. I would be so grateful to gain a bunch of subscribers, and more importantly, just a bunch of people watching it. And even more importantly, watching it and getting something from it. Me creating value in their life, in your children's life. But truthfully, YouTube is not the end goal. PBS is the end goal, or Netflix, or any platform that is going to be perfect for what aligns with what I want to do, with what the show is and what it's going to be, what it can, what it should be. And so I have decided, after going back and forth, where anybody who's seen some of my videos all the way, since the beginning, that was 85 videos ago, probably. Yeah, 85, I think. Kids or adults, and maybe both. And truthfully, I do want to try so hard to make it something for both. I mean, there's that Bluey cartoon. I mean, that cartoon is fantastic for children, but as an adult, it's so fun to watch. That's how good it is. That's how well scripted it is, how well written it is, the thoughts. I mean, that cartoon is so much more than that. It's teaching psychology. It's teaching how to not let our mind get the best of us, or the mind the best of your children. It's a beautiful show. So, I've really kind of decided that Mr. Rogers, although it's a children's show, we all know when we were kids, we loved it as kids, but as adults, if you go watch that show right now, you will gain so much from it, and you will feel it. That's what he could do, and that's what I hope. I hope I have that in me. I believe I do. I hope that what Mr. Rogers really could do is he could just kind of get in there and pull at your heartstrings. He had this incredible sincerity and ability to do that. And through his talent of writing music, people don't even know that, haven't watched his documentary, he wrote a ton of music. He had a piano right there in the studio, constantly working on music. And no, he didn't have a great voice, but he didn't care. He didn't care, and he made it work. And so, all of this is, that's it. It's going to be, sure, kids show, but it's going to have an element where parents will enjoy watching it with their kids, not just because they're watching it with their kids, but because they like what they're, experiencing as well. So yeah, that's where the Space Between is headed, and working on an outline for that obviously has been another big part of why I haven't been making videos. Because with looking for work, because I've got to keep a roof over my head. I wish I was as courageous as Vincent van Gogh to not care about where my next meal was going to come. But growing up where I grew up in my life, I've gotten accustomed to making sure I have food and shelter. No, there's nothing, I don't need to feel bad that I'm not as courageous as him. It's a different time. But, he would do anything if it meant he could paint. He would live, his shoes. He barely had shoes on his feet. And I would love to be that courageous, but regardless, I've been looking for work, and doing some jobs. Oh, that's another thing. It's amazing because a couple years ago when I was here only probably a year or two in LA, I took a job for a brand, and I was doing demos in grocery stores. The guy that I'm you're walking by and I go, "Hello, would you like to try our awesome kombucha today," or whatever? That was me. And I did that for 4 years, sometimes 32 hours a week, which, big deal. You didn't work 40. Well, I'm doing that on top of all my, auditions or opportunities or whatever you want to call them, training, and all the hours that go into the audition. We don't just show up and just say lines. Sometimes one single audition of just a couple pages could have taken you easily, I don't know, depending on the actor and depending on how you work, that could take you 10 hours, if not more. So it's a lot. It's like working multiple full-time jobs. But anyways, point being is because I had no choice, I just did some demos recently in a grocery store. And it was hard. It was hard because it felt like, I was like, oh my gosh, what am I doing here? What is this? But humility is a very important thing, and I'm not saying anybody should feel down about doing any sort of job. You should no job in the world should somebody look down on somebody for, I guess, except maybe organized crime or white collar crime, right? But other than that, no matter what you're doing, especially if you're doing it it doesn't matter the reason, but any job, nobody should look down on anybody for that. So let's get that right out of the way. But anyway, so I've been doing that to make a little money while I've been looking for my next kind of more stable job, while I then can still do all this. And that's what I've been used to for a long time from New York to LA. Is you do different jobs, you get jobs, you get jobs, acting or whatever it is, and then you go back to that crazy life. It is a crazy life, but it works for some people and it doesn't work for other people. But with all that being said, I have that going on, but then I'm working on the theme song, and it's, like I said, it's so close, and I'm so excited to share it with the world. And I think for a long time, I of course, you couldn't help but have like expectations for it. And thankfully, I'm really starting to release that. No matter what happens when I release it, no matter how many people watch it, no matter how many people comment or whatever, it won't matter, because when I know that it's exactly how I want it to be, it will be the springboard for every single episode from there on out, because that's the show. The show has to start with music. It has to. There's just no other way it can start. I know that in my heart. I know that as who I am, and I know that as the way I envision it, how I see it all coming to fruition. So yeah, I think that's pretty good. I mean, what are we at here? We're at 16 minutes, and I'm sure a lot of people have stopped watching because, like I said, YouTube's a business, so I didn't teach them anything in the first 3 minutes or promise anything they would learn by the end and all the little tricks that are used. But regardless, let me just say, I'm not going anywhere. That sounds so funny. I'm not going anywhere, but life obviously happens, and I had to take care of some stuff, and I still am. But I know it will work out. I think as somebody who's been, I could say, a recovering control freak, or freak's not the right word, control, just someone who needs control. I've gotten really good at, thankfully, in the last couple of years, just kind of surrendering to what's going on. And because a lot of pain and discomfort in our life is trying to change the situation that we're in, when you can't, and you just have to accept it as it is. Acceptance is everything, right? So yeah, I'm really excited to share that song, and that's going to happen soon. And that will be, moving forward, the space between. This is going to be a show that's magical. It's going to have music and poetry and rhythm and rhyme and dance and beautiful works of art, because I want children and their parents and everybody, I want them to feel deeply again. I don't want to teach you anything. I want you to feel something when you watch my show. Like, truly, that's what I want. I want you to feel something. I want you to connect again with that divine spirit that's inside of all of us. A divine spirit that as a child, as a boy, as a girl, or whatever, loved certain things, loved certain self-activities. And I want to ignite that passion in anybody who gives me the opportunity to do so. So that's what it's all about. Thank you to all of you who have been on this journey with me. And yeah, I really look forward towards the future for this. I'm really excited about it. And I have no idea how it's going to work out. I have no idea. And that's okay. Just have to have faith, and not a religious faith, just faith. Just being able to believe that something can work out with not having any evidence right now, right? All right, well, let's end this like I end all my videos, which I haven't said in a while. Let's see if we can do it. If I can do it, of course I can. Here inside the space between, we believe that empathy, equality, and inclusion is the only way for us to move forward in our human evolution and come together and help one another and realize that we're actually all sisters and brothers. And that the space between you and me is actually just invisible energy connecting everyone and everything you see. Peace and love. Stay tuned, because that song will be coming out. All right, you guys. Much love to all of you. Bye.